What is happening?
What's happening, Honey Badger Nation?
Good to see you, fellas. Coming off of an epic event and an epic time in the land. Thank you, Mr. Albie Stasek, for putting on one heck of a show.
Indeed, it was. Indeed, it was.
You know, we had a great group of people there, right? I mean, they were into it. That's what we like to do.
It was, man. Just environment is everything, and just that venue, that location, even the room for agent to CEO, right? You know, the view, and we've been in some pretty spectacular rooms. That ranks up there with one of the best, right? And it really sets kind of the mood, the flow, and then over there in the flats, over to forward, and just what a epic location. And then of course you get our boy DB and After Midtown boys. They dang sure put on a show, and the weather was perfect. It was just everything lined up.
Yep, it did.
Yeah, I didn't think about the room location when we first went and visited it to take a look at it, and I've seen the view so many times. I hate to say that I might have taken that for granted, but I kind of did, in a sense of like, I just didn't think how much value that just having it there with that view, added to the whole experience. But, it's almost like setting the stage for, okay, in a day and a half or whatever, we're going to be right down there, and well, that was cool.
Yeah. I think it's it's a little detail, but it's a big detail for folks doing events that you have to take into consideration. You have to take in, and you nailed the word, you nailed the experience, and that view, that location just adds to the experience. And so, for those of you guys listening in, full throttle, full tilt with events, it's a small detail, but it's an important one that you've got to pay attention to is that room, the room size, the view, what it looks like, just where it feels to where they can almost kind of relax, right?
Yeah.
And lower the stress, lower where they need to be to where they can be present, where they can focus. And it's super, super important for sure.
Yeah. Throw your questions in the comments. As always, we are here to help and serve, and go to honeybadgernation.com and check out where all the upcoming events and everything that we have going on. You'll find it right there, honeybadgernation.com. I wanted to say something about I'm just going to own this, a little bit of a confession, because going into this event, I was saying, if you ask my team, if you ask Allison, Andrea, John, Holly, Jay, what was coming out of my mouth, there was some negativity. And it was around the fact I was like, I'm never doing 2 events back to back again. No way. What was I thinking? And I was just, bitching up a storm. And it was because it is heavy, is because I forget. I don't know why I have this short-term memory loss that real estate agents sign up for shit last minute all the time. This was no different. And so there was just, anxiety and nerve that built up. Having said that, I'm so glad we did. I'm so glad we did. And this goes back to Coach Burt's when he teaches about, there's different types of events that you can do to add value. You have educational events, you have, educational events, I guess you could call them training events, boot camps, or entertainment. And then he combines the education and entertainment into edutainment, I think is what he calls it. And it's probably, I'm guessing it's probably the strongest thing you could do. It is also the heaviest, and looking back, John, it's why Kinder East Mastermind was so powerful, is because they were all edutainment based events.
Yeah. It's all about the experience. And you have to take that into consideration from, the moment they arrive until, even after they leave, and just really how you make them feel. And so, for those that were at agent to CEO and then was able to go over to Rock and Rescue, it just really tied that whole, 2-day experience together. Really powerful. I got something to kind of throw out while, any of you guys listening in, fast paced, as these calls have been condensed down to half an hour, since we also have our rapid funnel Honey Badger app training at 11:30 Central. You can find all of that, like Al said, over at honeybadgernation.com. All of the information, everything to get on that call is there. But I got to throw your questions in, whatever you guys have. So I've got something that kind of was brought up in just conversation. How do you break down kind of opening the gate of the mind to be able to have a conversation with an agent to start gaining some trust? Like what are some of the things, right? Because you think back, Al, I think, you back to how Cliffy got your attention, right? You were in seeker mode because you had a couple Christmas presents, and, you were in seeker mode, and he's like, hey, can you do me a favor? He hit you with the question. Does that still work today? If not, what's a better approach of engaging and talking to agents kind of in today's real estate climate?
Yeah.
Jake,
yeah, man. I mean, it's ask questions. I mean, it's ask questions. Be genuinely interested in what they're trying to do. That's the easiest way for anyone to take down their guard is to ask questions and let them talk. I mean, I don't know of any other way, than to really genuinely care, ask questions, and then listen.
So wouldn't this tie back to one of the things that everyone at Agent to CE learned about as far as this strategy of preeminence?
Yeah. One of the things that, we've always taught is that the foundation of everything we've ever done is the strategy of preeminence. And that's to truly, and I think this is one of the bigger mistakes. I'm glad you brought it up, Al. The bigger mistakes that people make is we fall in love with the product or the company and all of its benefits instead of falling in love with, the client and falling in love with, absolutely being their fiduciary and really truly understanding what they're trying to do and genuinely trying to help them. That has to be at the foundation of everything you're doing if you want to attract agents to this company. And so, we talk about it at, we've talked about it for years and years at EGS. And we open, kind of agent to CEO with that philosophy of, you're living for their betterment. That's the mindset. Every person you come in contact with, every vendor, every agent that joins your team, every agent that joins this company, that you truly genuinely care about what they're trying to accomplish and helping them get that.
Man, you've mentioned the word genuinely so many times that I want to kind of put in some asterisks around how important, because buyer reluctance is it only exists where there's lack of trust, and really that's it. I think it's where there's lack of trust, right? And I think everyone, including a recruit who is being courted, whether it's for EXP, Remax, it doesn't matter. Like, any agent will, if they feel like they're being sold ingenuously, not genuinely, not for their betterment, but for their betterment, there's always going to be a resistance and the buyer reluctance. And you can beat that and literally not only reverse it, but like literally turn it on its head so that it's just like, I'm in. What's next steps? If you can nail the strategy of preeminence, which said differently is just really being genuine about caring about their outcome. And that first, you getting revenue share, them being in your sponsored downline, whatever, second. Yeah. And I think it's probably the number one mistake people make at the company overall.
Right.
100%. We talked a lot about this last week and have just ever since, John Harp sent me that Ed Milet podcast episode with Rory Vaden with Brand Builders. And he's like, man, he said, when people see you online and even how you show up in person, does your brand better said, your reputation stand for trust. Do they trust you? And, you know, not only being genuine with the strategy of preeminence and asking questions and listening and trying to help them accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, but you also have to do that with your content. You also have to put that with your message and everything that you're putting out there, right? How you show up online is how you better show up offline. Or trust is broken. And if you really are coming from that foundational principle of the strategy of preeminence, to me, everything it all has to work together, right? It's not just this, it's the force multiplier effect that, you know, how you're showing up over here. Are you adding content that's just adding value, really trying to pour into people and helping them solve their problems? And I'm glad that's where you guys went with it. And with because that is the answer in my mind is exactly that. And coming from a place of knowing that you care. And, you know, Jay, we learned this from Clayton and the leadership team at Infusionsoft. Care is the glue to leadership.
Yep.
And everything is built back on leadership and how you're leading and how you're showing up. But do people genuinely know that you care? And when they know you care, the trust is there. They know you're helping them solve their problems. And to me, that's where the true alignment comes in.
Right.
And then you get text messages. Then you get text messages like I got last night from Connie White, who hit Icon, that just got her toy that she celebrated, 23 Corvette. I'll send you the picture of it. Nice. Sick. She ordered it and she's like, but that's because of alignment. That's because of helping her solve her problems.
Right. Yeah. It's not, you know, it's not just about getting them to see it and then join the company. It's about actually helping them once they join for all the reasons that they joined and helping them to get to where they're trying to go and not forget about them and assume that everything's going to take care of itself, but genuinely helping them along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. No, I love that. And, you know, I've been diving in, listening to Frisella quite a bit. And he was talking about, you know, the success ladder that him and Ed talk about. I'm sure you've heard him talk about it, right? You know, the success ladder is where you're at on the ladder. You got people that it reminds me of the plus, minus, and equal concept. Exactly. And essentially it's, you know, don't ever put your foot on somebody below you to kick them down the ladder. You're always you got a hand and you're trying to pull them up, those that are reaching for that help. And then, you know, you're looking up above you, you're watching out for those, because there are people above you that do have their foot out. They're trying to put their foot right in your face. You got to dodge those people. And, but there are people above you that do have their hand out that are like, come on, I'll help you. And he said, you know, for Sella, he said, man, he goes, believe me, I know a lot of successful people, and the most successful people on this planet, they wake up trying to help other people succeed, trying to help other people win. He goes, those are the most successful people on the planet. They're helping everybody else win.
Yeah. Right on.
Powerful. Got a question from Trent Mathis. For the newer agents here, what do you recommend as a strategy for agent attraction?
What's up, Trent? Yeah. So right. Yeah. So it's funny that, I mean, you know, every event we go to, I mean, we just came back from Build. We just got back from Agent to CEO. And, you know, these questions come up all the time. And, you know, in between that, every phone call that I do, it's something similar to this question. Up in the room at night, it's the same thing. After a few drinks, people come up and ask me the same thing. And it's funny because, like, I oftentimes find myself searching for a different answer. Maybe there's something different to this answer. Maybe there's something, you know, else that I should say in this moment that is more meaningful. But it all comes back to the same thing 100% of the time. There is no different strategy that we recommend. There is only one strategy we recommend, and then we recommend it every single time. And then when we go back and reflect and look at who's having the most success, they're all the ones that follow the strategy. And so it's number one. You either have gone through agentattractiontraining.com, which you get by downloading the app and going to coaching, which is the Rapid Funnel app, which you can find now at honeybadgernation.com. And you learn the strategy of inviting, learn the strategy of the process, starting with, don't skip steps, make your list, make sure that, that you're following the process, learn what to invite them to free trainings, which you have a ton of in the app that you can share on a weekly basis. The Funnel Fridays with Braden, the Thursday skills training with Wally, John's Expert Mentors Wednesdays. Those are all things that you can invite people to for free, and learning to invite them to take a look at the opportunity, watch a free video, a live presentation, or come to one of these live events. That's really that is the process. And so if you're new, you've been here a while and you haven't had success with agent attraction, or you're really trying to get into it, that is the process. There's not another way that I know of that is successful that I've seen anybody use.
That's it.
Yep.
Follow
If there was, we would have created different training and we would send you to that. But that's you know what I'm saying? Like, if we believed there was a way to make this easier for people, we would have invested in different technology already. We would have tried something different that's what we would have done. Instead, we poured all of our effort into creating the assets and the videos that are in Rapid Funnel that you can't get anywhere else. That's the value proposition for our group, not for just EXP, and has the baked in testimonials of every story based on the avatars that you might be talking to. It's all complete. It's all there. All the things that we know about how to, really move the needle in terms of agent attraction is built into the app, built into the videos, built into the training. It's all built into that.
Actually, I'm actually glad that Trent asked the question, because, he just put in here that was, sort of rhetorical. He knew the answer, but he invited a bunch of new people. And that was what I was going to say before he put that post up. Thank you, Trent. Yeah. Is that we got over 100 new people a week joining this group, and they don't know these things. And we do have to repeat it. And it's good that, it comes up on every call, because it's important for us to keep repeating and having other people, by the way, if you're listening to us every week and you see a question like that, feel free to jump in, help your fellow honey badger, and just let them know where they need to go. And that needs to cascade down so that more people can be helped and have it be exposed to all the resources that are there for them.
Yeah. And the thing, and two guys, that you have to understand is that this is a duplicatable process. It's not something, that, well, you guys can do it, I can't do that. No. This is a duplicatable process. And if it doesn't scale, it doesn't work.
Right. Yeah. It's, it'd be one thing if we were like, oh man, we just put up these billboards all over DFW and it's crushing. Well, not everybody can do that. It doesn't duplicate. Right. And so, and Debbie, made a point, love the Rapid Funnel coaching. Thank you, Debbie. Should be sent at the time of onboarding. Agreed. Our ability to get this in front of every person that joins is a little bit cumbersome. So thank you for joining. Thank you for plugging in. Thank you for taking action. And, it's a reminder that, hey, when I bring people on, I need to, make sure that I'm getting them indoctrinated properly by jumping on these calls, by, telling them to go to honeybadgernation.com, get the app, go through the training. Like, that's how you create duplication. And it's really your sponsor, or it's your responsibility as the sponsor to make sure you get them plugged in. Right. And so you have to own that and make sure that you're getting them to the end zone. And I know that's why Trent brought this up. You can say it, but it's also valuable to hear us say it over and over again as well. So that, because we all over entrepreneur things or try, something different, this and that and the other. But, we truly have built the best system that we know how to build. And, making sure that every person you bring in that's interested in agent attraction knows about it, own that as a responsibility to make sure that they've got it, they've downloaded it, they know how to use it, and they're getting on these trainings so that they can, and the end result of that is your group will grow. They will say the right things. They will be using the right process. They'll end up with more people that they bring and attract to the company, which means your group's going to grow. And that's really without your effort a lot of times. So just making sure we're doing that.
Love it. Yep. The other thing too, that I would also throw out that's helpful, Al, you do this because you do this as well, is that you got to get those names out in front of you. You got to get them out visible. Who are you talking to? Who are you in that red zone? Who are you in that onboarding process, right? just got to be able to see it, out of sight, out of mind, right? So, this is just kind of how the three of us operate, right? If we're not seeing, if it's not in front of us all the time, then it doesn't, stay at the forefront of our mind.
Right.
And then, because I had this conversation this morning, that's why it's kind of fresh, is being able to have that visibility, but then also what's the one or two key metrics that you're really paying attention to? Al, you have your, 25-10-4 process that you've kind of adopted over into the agent attraction side of things. And, it's just kind of a big thing. I mean, even, Veronica was just harping on this at Agent to CEO last week. She was just talking about, like, if you guys are not measuring, right, you have no business. And we talk about, I mean, it's one of your favorite quotes, cause is, it's the whole, measure, report, make public is how things, grow exponentially. And, there's only a couple honey badgers in this group that are accountable on a monthly basis. And that's Dan Hillsman, really maybe the only one. And he's, his scoreboard is up every.
I get James's from time pretty regular to get James's. I get Kevin Flaherty's. And there's one Mike Cerrone. He's the other one that sends it. That's the only ones that consistently send me their well charts. But so Trent asked, where can everybody go, to get the links, to tap into everything HBN has to offer. If you haven't seen it, you haven't been to honeybadgernation.com. That's the website we released a few months back, and it has everything we're doing, every link to everything that's going on. Everything is all in one place. That's your one central hub. Get everybody in, to that website. If you're looking for something, go to that website. Is the answer for that.
Love it. A good time for probably a question or two. I don't know what Debbie's referring to. Slides on Facebook attraction.
Probably the slides related to the training on how to do Facebook Lives. I'm guessing. Reach out, or you can post it here, Debbie. We'll figure out what you're looking for and we'll get it to you.
There is training on Facebook Lives in the app, in the coaching section of the app.
Coaching section.
Yeah, Rapid Funnel. Yep.
Awesome. Anything else that we want to everybody be kind of mindful of heading into as we're trying to wrap this quarter up, getting ready to head into Q4?
Yep. I mean, I think after every event, now we're promoting the next event. EXPCon is coming up next. That's the next thing you should be thinking about is who am I getting to EXPCon? I don't know of anybody that gets a major player to one of these large events that doesn't come away with somebody that ends up joining. Like it's literally the biggest needle mover of all. And so getting people to these events is key.
100%. Cool. All right, fellas. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Jump over with us with the Rapid Funnel team as we're going through the training. And we will keep rocking over there.
Right on. We'll see you over there.
So let's put a little thing in the link here, how they can get there easy. Because I think we lost a lot of people in that little transition. Can we post the link in this live for everyone that's on right now so that they can easily click it? Obviously, you can go to honeybadgernation.com. The link is in there.
It is. It's all the way at the bottom.
Honeybadgerapp.com. I got it right here.
It's all the way at the bottom, but it's training.thehoneybadgerapp.com.
Training.thehoneybadgerapp.com.
Yeah, but you guys can go to Honey Badger Nation. It's all the way at the bottom, all the links, and everything's there.
Awesome. We'll see you over there.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Let's roll.